I don't know. This for the first time in my career, I really don't know. I really just want to spend time with my family. I think we all need a break.
Believe it or not, Erica Wheeler left fans dazed as she spills the tea on her shocking departure from Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. The untold story demands answers. But what's next for the star? Erica Wheeler indicates she will likely not be returning to the Fever. I am letting y'all know now. I'ma drop some hints, but I'ma be real petty about it. And it's all fun and games, though. Don't curse me out. My agent sent me a list for free agency. Erica Wheeler, a dynamic force on the court and a beloved figure off it, has officially said her goodbyes to the Indiana Fever, leaving fans in a whirlwind of emotions. The announcement, while not entirely unexpected, comes as a bittersweet moment for both Wheeler and the Fever faithful.
Like, they're laughing at it because they're like, if you know anything about Erica Wheeler, by the way, S-tier human being. Like, look, I don't think she was that great as a player this year. Bad contract, S-tier human being. And I think most people that are like, when it comes to the Fever fans, are like, she's an S-tier human. Like, the amount of work she does with charity, the amount of just how much she defends her teammates, how much she defends her coach, how much she defends everything. Like, she is a vet you want in the team. I want them to keep her. I just don't want to give her a max contract. Pay her $75K a year. Instead of retiring, stay on with the Fever. Stay on as an assistant coach. Stay on just working with the team. Like, Erica Wheeler isn't...
However, she recently revealed a heartfelt moment that has left fans buzzing. In a post, she shared, "My agent sent me a list for free agency," accompanied by a sad emoji, hinting at mixed emotions about her departure from the Indiana Fever. In any case, Wheeler's words hinted that leaving Indiana may not have been entirely her choice, sparking speculation about her future and the circumstances surrounding her exit. Fans who have admired her resilience and electrifying presence on the court are now left wondering if Wheeler had hoped to continue her journey with the Fever. The sad emoji speaks volumes, hinting at an emotional goodbye to a team and city she's called home. For a player who's been a beacon of inspiration, Wheeler's departure feels deeply personal, not just for her, but for the Fever's loyal supporters. Her transparency about the free agency process adds another layer to her story, showing the human side of professional sports.
Wheeler was posting this on, I don't know, I think this maybe is on Threads or Instagram, I don't know. Obviously, it's Erica Wheeler and Caitlin Clark. But I'm letting y'all know now, I'ma drop some hints, but I'll be real petty about it. It's all fun and games, though, don't curse me out. My agent sent me a list for free agency. And there is a chance that Indiana is on the list.
Wheeler had a sizable contract that, despite her undeniable talent, placed a significant strain on the Fever's salary cap. With her departure, the team now finds itself in a position to free up valuable resources, potentially paving the way for transformative signings and improvements. For fans who have long supported the Fever through highs and lows, this bittersweet moment brings a glimmer of optimism for the team's future. Wheeler's departure, while emotional, offers Indiana the flexibility to pursue players who could address key areas of need. With rising stars and established veterans available in the market, the Fever have a chance to strategically rebuild and enhance their roster in ways that could elevate their competitiveness.
What's up, Am? Look, as you can see, the world is already tough within itself. So for me, I always just try to find ways to make, how can I say, every situation light. Because at the end of the day, like, we create the energy around each other. Like, yes, work is hard. Yes, the world is what it is. But at the end of the day, you have to switch your mind and say, hey, I'm in control of my emotions. I'm in control of how I treat people. I'm in control of how I go about my daily life. Even if, days get hard. Because even on my worst day, I'm still trying to find a way to smile. So I just encourage you to just try to flip your mindset to think like, okay, if I'm having a bad day, somebody else can be having a way worse day than you, but you still have a job, you still can feed yourself, you still can, live the way you need to live. So just try to flip your mind and turn those days when you're having a bad day into a positive day to know that somebody else is probably struggling way worse than you. So I encourage you, stay encouraged.
While Wheeler's contribution to the Fever was immense, many fans understand the bigger picture. As painful as it is to see a beloved player leave, the possibility of reshaping the team for sustained success is exciting. Wheeler's exit doesn't just close a chapter, it opens the door for new opportunities. Fans are hopeful that this newfound cap space will allow the Fever to make bold moves, perhaps bringing in young talent, defensive anchors, or game-changing scorers to build a brighter future. Even as they say goodbye to Wheeler with gratitude and love, they're looking forward to what's next.
Unique, but I just knew the level of focus, the level of you had to just take it up a notch. I think this one was super special because, the Indiana Fever haven't been in years. So for us to make it in year 2 of Christy being the head coach, I think that was special within itself. It just says a lot about this group and the room that this group have to grow. I mean, of course we wanted to end a different way, but I couldn't be more proud of this group, how we handled all year, because it was a lot. People tried to get in this gym and just try to, tear us apart, and we didn't let that happen.
As the WNBA free agency period heats up, the buzz surrounding the market is palpable, with Erica Wheeler's name among the list of notable players available. However, fans are now shifting some of their attention to another intriguing name-making headlines, Kelsey Plum. Reports suggest that Plum, a cornerstone of the Las Vegas Aces, has had difficulty coming to terms on a new deal with the reigning champions. This has sparked widespread speculation that she could become a major free agency prize if she opts to explore other opportunities. For teams like the Indiana Fever, who recently freed up valuable cap space with Wheeler's departure, the thought of adding a star like Plum to their roster is electrifying. Imagine Caitlin Clark leading the Fever team alongside other key players. Crowning it up with a player like Plum would be game-changing.
My thought was the Las Vegas Aces in a Kelsey for Kelsey trade. What do you guys think?
Fans are already debating the possibilities, with some dreaming of the Fever making an ambitious bid to lure Plum away from the Aces. While landing a player of her caliber would be a long shot, her potential availability underscores the depth and excitement of this year's free agency class. The Fever's front office now faces a critical moment, leveraging their newfound financial flexibility to make impactful signings that could shift the team's trajectory.
But people are still talking about this. 3 reasons why the Fever should consider the Kelsey for Kelsey.
For the Fever, the opportunity to make bold moves and reshape their future has never been more enticing. The Indiana Fever are entering a transformative chapter under their new general manager, who is laser-focused on building a roster capable of delivering success. At the heart of this vision is the goal to position Caitlin Clark, one of the most dynamic and promising players in basketball, to lead the franchise to its first-ever championship. So what's the GM's strategy? Surround Clark with a team that maximizes her talent and provides her with the freedom to play her game the way she excels best.
We try to do to make you uncomfortable. This is how we've game planned for you. And again, being that straight shooter, these are the areas that we need to improve. And putting those pieces together while also thinking about the holistic version of this team that we have, who is incredibly gifted on the offensive end of the floor.
Yeah.
Offense is what I love. And so being able, trying to think about all these things that we can do. And heck, we had a staff meeting a couple of weeks ago in Indy, and it was like, guys, we got to scale it back. We're not going to be able to do all of this in year 1. We're not going to be able to do all of this in training camp. We're going to be able to. So staying ahead of the curve and watching all these.
To unlock her full potential, the Fever are intent on constructing a system that allows her to take on a free role. This approach aims to give Clark the freedom to dictate the tempo, orchestrate the offense, and capitalize on her unmatched ability to create opportunities for herself and her teammates.
We heard a lot from Stephanie White after she first got the Indiana Fever job, and obviously we hear from her on NBA telecast and the like, but considering this long WNBA offseason, it's not as if, these interviews are coming out fast and furious or there's as much contact with the players as one would hope for. That's why when there was a little highlight tape of Caitlin Clark or a workout tape with her in the lab with Stephanie White, it was blew up right away. But the coach has spoken again. She appeared on the IHSAA.
The recent departure of Erica Wheeler, while bittersweet, frees up cap space for the Fever to chase impact players and build a more balanced and cohesive roster. Stephanie White, back in the fold as head coach, is also a crucial part of the plan. The Fever's ambitious plan doesn't stop at free agency. Draft picks, player development, and cultural rebuilding are also priorities. The goal is not just to win a championship, but to establish a long-term foundation where Clark can thrive as the face of the franchise. This involves creating an environment where players feel supported, roles are clearly defined, and Clark's leadership can shine.
A lot more defensive weapons at our disposal. So, and it's I don't know how any college team really can prepare for a Caitlin Clark, because you can't do it with one person.
Yeah.
You can't do it one-on-one, right? Like it is a whole 5-man team effort. So let me just preface all that.
Yeah.
Fans are already buzzing with anticipation, excited to see how the Fever will shape their roster. The stakes are high, and the path to contention is challenging, but the pieces are falling into place. With a new GM, a determined coach in Stephanie White, and a generational talent in Caitlin Clark, the Fever are setting their sights on something they've never achieved before: a WNBA championship. All eyes are now on the moves they'll make to bring this vision to life. Meanwhile, Stephanie White, the Indiana Fever's head coach, has made it clear she believes in the potential of her current squad. While the team boasts young talent and emerging stars, White understands that for the Fever to make a serious push toward playoff contention, one critical area must improve: defense. The Fever's struggles on the defensive end have been a glaring issue in recent seasons, and White is determined to address it while maintaining confidence in the players already on the roster. Also, White's belief in her team stems from the solid foundation built around key players, including Caitlin Clark's offensive brilliance and the promising development of the Fever's younger core. However, even with offensive firepower, the Fever's inability to consistently get stops has been a hurdle they cannot ignore. White knows that building a championship-caliber team means becoming more versatile and resilient on defense, which is why improving this aspect of their game is a top priority moving forward.
What we try to do to make you uncomfortable. This is how we game planned for you. And again, being that straight shooter, like, okay, like these are the areas that we need to improve. And putting those pieces together while also thinking about the holistic version of this team that we have, who is incredibly gifted on the offensive end of the floor.
Yeah.
Adding a player like Sabali would give the Fever a strong defensive anchor while alleviating pressure on Caitlin Clark and the team's younger players. White recognizes that having a player who can guard multiple positions and protect the paint would allow the team to experiment with more aggressive defensive schemes, such as pressing or trapping, without compromising their structure. Sabali's presence would also provide an experienced voice in the locker room, something that's invaluable for a young squad still finding its identity. In addition to free agency, White is emphasizing player development, focusing on helping existing players become more disciplined and cohesive on defense. Through intense training camps, improved communication, and strategic adjustments, the Fever aim to elevate their defensive efficiency without losing the offensive spark that makes them dangerous. White has been vocal about the importance of every player buying into a defense-first mentality, believing that effort and commitment can turn defensive liabilities into strengths. With the free agency period heating up and players like Sabali potentially on the move, the Fever find themselves at a pivotal moment. White's confidence in her current roster, combined with targeted improvements in key areas, reflects a clear and deliberate plan to turn Indiana into a competitive force. Fans are eager to see how White's leadership and the team's defensive upgrades will translate on the court. If the Fever can strike the right balance between offense and defense, they'll not only be tougher to beat, but also positioned as legitimate contenders in the WNBA.
player. Last season, she averaged 18 points per game, 6.4 rebounds per game, and 5 assists on 45% shooting from three, which is literally spectacular. We're going to focus on that playmaking first. Look at this first pass by Satou Sabally. She is throwing that cross-court pass to the corner, and that is an amazing pass, an amazing play. And if you think about the way the Indiana Fever play, or at least they played last year, I know they have a new coach, things might change. They love playing a 5-out kind of basketball. Everyone's just sitting around the three-point line. You have one guard and one big man doing a pick and roll at the top of the key, and then literally nothing else is going on. You just got a whole bunch of shooters. You need players that are going to be able to find those shooters in the corner. Satou Sabally is showing that she can do that, and look, she might be a helpful player when it comes to putting her in that Draymond Green role, putting Caitlin Clark in that Steph.
On the other hand, many believe Chicago would be an ideal landing spot for Wheeler. The Sky, who are navigating their own off-season transitions, could benefit from her veteran presence and ability to command an offense. Wheeler's skill set, which includes both facilitating and scoring in key moments, makes her an attractive option for a team looking to bolster its backcourt. Her experience and resilience could provide the spark Chicago needs as they aim to remain competitive in a league where margins are razor thin. While Wheeler's potential departure stirs emotions among Fever fans, Indiana's focus is squarely on building a roster that maximizes its chances of winning a championship. With a generational talent like Caitlin Clark leading the charge, the Fever are determined to construct a team that can support her brilliance while elevating the entire squad. Wheeler's exit, though bittersweet, would free up valuable cap space and provide the Fever with the flexibility to pursue key pieces in free agency, players who can address critical needs, particularly on defense and depth, and position the team for a deep postseason run.
I like Satou a lot because her capability of shooting the three. She's 45% from the three. That would be an extra weapon on offense that it will be very hard to stop the Indiana Fever to have her on the team. Now, she did say some comments about Caitlin Clark in the past, but you got to let bygones be bygones. So I think it's a business deal, and I think they'll just get along once they meet each other. So, but I think she'll be, honestly, the most talented free agent if they pick her, because she could stretch out the floor. Imagine her, Mitchell, and Caitlin Clark on the same floor.
The Fever's ultimate goal is clear: to create the best possible environment for Caitlin Clark to thrive and to get her hands on that coveted WNBA championship trophy. As the Fever navigate this pivotal offseason, fans are grappling with the reality that Wheeler's departure might be a necessary step toward long-term success. Her contributions to the team will always be remembered, and her story of perseverance, going from undrafted to All-Star MVP, will continue to inspire. But for a franchise hungry for its first WNBA title, tough decisions are inevitable. If you enjoyed, leave a like and subscribe. More videos are on screen now.